Hello, Reckoning7, and welcome to Hearts of Iron, which is a little bit different for my YouTube channel. Something I actually cover quite a lot on Twitch, just because it's a fantastic game and I play it a lot, and I find it a nice kind of arcadey war game almost, which is it makes me smirk a little bit because obviously most people regard it as fairly complicated games. But sometimes if you play a lot of war games and actually moving to something like HOI, especially HOI 4, which is much more streamlined than the previous version, it's nice, a bit more relaxing. You can a bit more kind of ridiculous things can happen in the world, but it's good. It's chill, and you can burst a play out and kind of play through it in like 12 hours or whatever. So it's good. So I enjoy doing that. Cover a lot on my channel. Don't tend to put very much of that on YouTube. In fact, I don't think I've put any vanilla HOI on YouTube because, to be honest, there's a dearth of content out there already, and so I don't think I was adding anything new or particularly different. I did a couple of modded playthroughs about a year ago. I think I did one in Old World Blues, which is Fallout themed, and one in TNO, which is a alternative future if Germany had won World War II. Very, very different playthroughs, both those, and they were a bit of fun. And actually, it was on one of those videos that I got a comment from Nathan about 6 months ago now, saying, hey, would you consider doing the Cold War Iron Curtain mod, which is this one we've got in front of us, and doing a UK playthrough? So I thought, well, why not? We've just finished up with Strategic Command. I thought it'd be nice to do something a bit different before we maybe jumped back in with more of that from a Confederate side of things. So I thought we'd give this a whirl. So I've been playing this on my non-YouTube Twitch days for the last week. So we've done 2 sessions thus far. We did one is North Korea, which went really well. We won the Korean War, and we kind of fast forwarded through the decade, and we massively increased our GDP, and all things were looking peachy for North Korea there. And then we did another playthrough as the US, which went a little more off the rails. We went ahistorical. We ended up in a war with China in like 51, 52, and despite unleashing a lot of nukes on them, still got bogged down in Korea and couldn't win. So that was a very different playthrough. So hopefully, as the UC will be a bit more successful. There is music in the game, but I've got it switched off at the minute because the opening credits are a copyrighted tune. Oh, it's a really good tune, but still can't have it on. And good evening, 80s. Thank you for joining us. So we are going to start a new game. So there's 3 time periods. The mod's obviously still in development. They've got a good chunk of content in, but they want to do more. They reckon there's 20 years in for any of the majors and about 10 years in for any of the minors. So we're going to kick things off right in 1949, and we're going to be playing as the UK. So we know we're going to be looking at bastion against kind of communism and kind of trying to bolster democracy around the world. Probably kind of going down kind of anti-colonialism and all those bits and pieces. But we'll get into it when we see. We'll obviously have the UN and NATO and trying to interact with those organizations. We'll see how that works out. And more importantly, whether it makes for fun gameplay. So let's dive in as the Ark. Just leave everything blank. And off we go. Clement Attlee. And once again, I can turn the radio back on because it's just the standard HOI music, which doesn't always fit. And there is a sub-mod, if you're interested in that thing, which gives you more on-theme and music. Again, not so friendly with the interwebs. Now, I will say, and I warn in advance, there is a lot of flavor text in this mod, which is obviously great from a world building perspective. But I'm not going to be reading all of it. I'll kind of read through the stuff which is relevant to Britain. The rest of the stuff, feel free to pause and read that if you want. Otherwise, we'd just spend all my time reading stuff on the screen, and that's no fun for anyone. Now, I'm going to click the Enable Tutorial button here because all that does is open up a section under our decisions, which give you all the bits and pieces for tutorials, just in case I get myself mixed up and want to click on something. I'm fairly familiar with the different systems we've added in for just now, but every now and again something new gets thrown at me. So here we are. Obviously, it looks very different. Nice little modern-ish kind of UI features. First things we want to get set off is okay. Well, we can start. We'll start by getting our research sorted. So this is one of the massive overhauls in this mod. Huge amounts of research, all the way through to, I think, the late 1990s. Yeah, so pretty ambitious scope. let's not kid ourselves. And you've got everything obviously from the equipment side of things, army side of things, navy. You also have added like helicopters, much more kind of electronics and industrial concerns, and things like the space race, rockets, WMDs. It's all happening. Right, things we want to do. Yeah, we probably want to be a nuclear armed power for self-defense and preservation. Let's get that kicked off. I'm going to want to, actually before this, I want to put my music on the go again. All good? Oh. Helps if you remember to turn the volume back up. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, so you're not just stuck with my droney voice. No one wants that. Weapons, done. We're going to want to look at industry next, because we want to keep our economy going. So that's something we have added, finances and economy, and it's quite interesting to work with. So things which are good for the economy, that's just general output, which is not the, like, in HOI 4, like, factory output is almost like the be all and end all. More efficient factories mean it all. But because the time scale is so huge here, and because armies are pretty expensive, it's not just about maxing out, you know, as many men as you can, because you'll go bankrupt. Which I think is a nice, interesting cap. Right, so I think we'll probably maybe start with, yeah, oh, we're ahead of time because we're only in 1949. Derp, 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 derp. Alright, I'll hold off my 1950s text, although there may not be much that we need in before then, because we should be fairly advanced. Apparently we don't have our missile tech is behind. But our space tech is behind. Alright, maybe we'll not do space racy stuff as Britain. Not unless we have nothing else to do. What can we do here? Special forces in the desert, maybe? I don't want to spend too long doing this because we've got a whole bunch of setup stuff to do. All the tanks are up to date. Okay. Let us... Apparently our tactical bombers out of date. May not be that important, but sure, we'll grab the Canberra B2. Even though we're ahead of time, let's just go industry stuff. It's nice, simple, get us going, and we can come back and worry about it later. You have a lot of time to do things in this. Construction speed, there we go, that's a good one to have. Cool, right. Research done. Other most important thing is going to be looking at our focus tree. So this is our current focus tree. Reasonable size, and this will take us essentially through to 1960, when they have the oil crisis start date, and you actually get a new focus tree for that. So we've got some stuff in here about reinforcing our house, the prominence in the House of Parliament, Lords, what are you going to call it? I know my own government, waste. 5 common principles for, this is for kind of rebuilding after the war. We can restructure the German debt and get them all sorted out. Commonwealth stuff, army, generic army stuff, which we'll probably leave off, to be honest. I like the political stuff, it's a bit more interesting. Okay, we can't do any of those ones. We can't do those ones yet. Always false, right? So presumably that'll kick in later via some kind of event. So what do we want? We can just get a bunch of political power, which isn't a bad way to kick things off. Legal aid and rent controls, or yeah, let's start with this. We'll do this. I'm not that familiar enough with the tree to know exactly the best place to go. Let's maybe start with some of these. Our House of Commons, that's the word I was looking for, is the most prominent house in Parliament, responsible for passing all acts, taxation and the supply of money by the government. Fine. So it's just some politics stuff. Okay, things we want to talk about. This government screen obviously changed. You've got your manufactories, standard, no change there. You've got your kind of policies in terms of exports, conscription, civilian economy. Now these two work very similar. This one is actually slightly different in that the modifiers have changed. So this is less around about factories, because your consumer goods don't change, and it's more about how quickly you can build military infrastructure. So slight difference. We've got nuclear state. We're currently not a nuclear nation. And we've got the UN Security Council, which we're a member of. In addition, there's all sorts of policies you can implement as per any particular government in terms of, so we've got military, welfare, education, police, healthcare, public services, and obviously each of them have different impacts. So welfare, for example, this will increase our political power and the building speed of a few things, but it costs a bunch of money, as well as political power to implement. Again, so research speed goes up with education, but costs to implement. So you've got to get a balance between what benefits do I want versus what cost can I afford. Groovy. And speaking of, like, I'd say speaking of costs, civilian structure. So one thing I do like to do early doors is get my municipal infrastructure up to speed. And actually, UK starts pretty healthy from that point of view. Let's get them. There is not that many factories in the Highlands. I'll queue up anyways. We may end up putting things in the queue before it, but having it in the queue is no bad thing. And although we can only go 3 levels now, research will unlock further levels. So each one of these is going to increase industrial park output. So that's a civilian factory essentially. Which one's that? One of these. Petrochemical. There you go, industrial park. So that's what you use for building stuff. These things. So that should make us build faster in the state, as well as have a more output from our factories. You get standard military factories. You also get things like power plants. There's petrochemical refineries because they have added new trade goods you've got to balance. So you can see each one of our factories requires a power, a steel, and a petrochemical. So sometimes you've got to balance the resource side of things as well. Ban Davidosi, free dockyards. Now, I don't really know what state of navy we are in, so but just now, before we get kicked off, what? How many dockyards have I got? Flipping heck. 19, right, 20, right. Well, we'll change that out in a minute. We'll have a look what our ships are doing. But again, we don't just want to build unlimited navies because we'll go bankrupt. So if you look at our economic overview, lots of nice handy little overviews here, you can see that, so currently we're earning 87 billion. We all want to try and increase that. We're currently spending 78. So we're in a good place. Monthly balance of 3 billion, surplus. Hey, what government wouldn't want that? But you can look from here, military, we're already spending 17 billion a month on army and 32 billion a month on navy. So massively increasing the size of the navy is a quick way to bankrupt ourselves. We're probably going to want to do more of the likes of retiring old boats, building new ones, that kind of thing, like an actual navy does. Doctrines. Now, there is a whole bunch of new stuff at the bottom. So I was tempted to go the old Grand Battle Plan because of the UK, it's what you do. But given there's a whole bunch of stuff down here, which I haven't really been through all of it to know exactly what it's all about, we'll go with superior firepower. And actually, it works not as bad because you tend to have better quality units in this because you have fewer of them. Okay, don't worry so much about planes. Decisions, we'll want to tweak this, which is a little bit boring, but we'll get that done. What? You just... Oh, European coal and steel community. Oh, okay. Didn't know that was a thing, but there you go. Operations, Chinese Civil War. That's fine. Economic decision. We'll just turn everything off. We probably shouldn't need to do military equipment purchasing. We'll be able to build our own. Colonial affairs, have a look at them minutes. They might be interesting. The Vietnam War, we may not get involved in that. UK's economy, well, that's interesting. I'll have to have a look at these. NHS debt growing. Okay, yeah, chronic inflation. Oh, turns out we got a little bit of a problem after spending all that money on the war. And then NATO, we can, yeah, right, we'll get rid of that. That's for like using chemical and biological weapons. Okay. That's fine. What you tell me is available. No, that was one. Decisions. What about unticked? Just those ones. And that's right. So this is just a way to queue up stuff in your construction queue en masse. Quite handy if you've got a larger country. You can just click a button and it'll just queue up all the state infrastructure you can possibly build, or all the municipal infrastructure you can possibly build, which we can talk about a bit later. You also have to industrialize states. So each state has a rating. These are all developed, and that impacts, I think it's like a number of building slots and things. I'm not 100% clear on exactly the impact of this, but you can see you can go from pre-industrial to industrial to developed to modern to automated, so on and so forth. And you can spend money to upgrade states, which haven't got that. However, currently, it looks like all the ones which aren't upgraded are like random islands, Maldives, St. Kitts, bits of the world, Belize, Sarawak. Okay, they do not look like interesting places. So I'm not going to bother investing in that, because that seems like a silly thing to do. You can go away. That's fine, I'll deal with that later. More doctrines, probably boat doctrines, fleet and being, of course. More doctrines? Ooh. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Right, and let's get our armies and throw them all together. Bit of organization needed at the start, but I'll try and get through it without spending too much time. That's like 20 minutes. Templar, Monty. Oh, surely you got to put Monty in charge. There you go, Monty. You can be in charge of our. Is that really our entire army? Small army. Ah, Auchinleck, nice. I've got random people overseas. I've got a guy in Berlin. He's probably going to stay there. And we've got some people in Germany. Ah. Cancel. You lot can come home. And we'll just put a quick air defense order on these guys, just so they're all hanging about at home and we know where our armies are. What else is going on? I've got a guy in Gibraltar. That's fine. You can throw yourself in there. We have someone in Cyprus. It's okay. You can stay in Cyprus. Oh, there's a lot of ports in Cyprus. You might need some help. Oh. Do you know, I didn't realise the UK took Libya after World War II. That's something I probably should know, but don't. Okay, you guys can join on him, and your kind of random defensive units. Fine. We are not training anyone in Division's basic training. We will probably look at changing that. Try and fill out a little bit of an army, although we somewhat struggle to enforce it. Now we've got a couple of airborne brigades, armoured. These are just generic kind of armoured, motorised, Royal Marines and a Royal Tank. And the 2nd Infantry Division. Let's maybe fill you out. So you've got quite a lot of chaff. So if I put my chaff here, you've got kind of 18 units. And tell you what, we'll give you guys a proper order. Art of Stuttering, thanks to follow. We'll tell you a proper defensive order just so you rearrange yourselves. And actually I'm going to steal this Cypriot unit and get you to go to him. There we go. Let's try that again. Okay, good. You are my garrison-esque forces. Please just garrison. Gibraltar, Cyprus, Egypt. Okay, good. And probably want a few more of them. So that's not so bad. Okay, I've got 22 actual units, including the random guy in Berlin who can stand on his own. I don't think we can pull him out there. So why don't we recruit ourselves a handful more of our just territorial army? Ah, nice. Say 5 of them. That's fine. We'll drop them down just so we're slightly embiggening ourselves. And then old Auchinleck here can get probably a few more infantry. I feel like I should break out my special forces. Commandos. Do I have any Marines? Where's my Marines? Royal Marines. There we go. Got a bit of special forces under... Who should get them? Do I have a special forces commander? You know, Castles. He's an invader at least. Not that I expect we're going to be 2-match, but sure. You can be special forces man. And then you, I would like probably a few more infantry divisions just to get things kicked off. I'm sure we can use the 2nd, because why not? It's a good base. Build me say 4 of them if you can. Right. Just so we're embiggening ourselves ever so slightly. I'm willing to sort out military factories. Again, this is a little bit fixing you need to do at the start, just get things on the go while we have a lot of guns. We need self-propelled light artillery. I have a lot of support coming as well, that's good. We don't have that many spare. But we can trim one off here and at least get this going. Armed vehicles, self-propelled light artillery. Awesome. Okay, we want slight deficit, and these things will truck away. Unlike... Which one am I thinking of? Is it the TNO one where you had it, where each factory actually cost you money to run? Doesn't cost you money to run in this. You might have to pay for resources if you don't have enough, but it doesn't cost you money to use your military factories. So there's no harm in building a big surplus of equipment. We will going to have to sort navies out, but let's just ignore them for just now. Probably the real efficient thing to do would be to go away and disband a whole bunch of ships right now and save ourselves some cash. But I want to try and get a little bit of advancement on the go. There is a UN tab, which we'll probably look at slightly later. We'll let the world get off and running at the minute. Am I involved in the Greek War? I'm not. Can I send you some volunteers? I can send 3. It's not a lot. We were going to send 3 volunteers to Greek War. Who would it be? Mando's in a tank? Just 3 tanks? Why don't we send the Royal Tank, this 3rd Mechanized and the 2nd Infantry Division. Let's throw you under a commander. We have to give you... Who can get you? You had a commander arms in here somewhere. Finland? Cool, we'll send you off to Greece. They may say no, because there's no guaranteed tick. 3 divisions may not run the war, but there we go, and we'll send whatever planes we can get away with. Try and win the Greek Civil War. Good. So there will be a lot of kind of small interventionist type wars. Again, we're pretty limited in the number of volunteer forces we can send. Much more so than the likes of the US. Art of Stuttering. You enjoyed my Combat Black series and saw was live. Will lurk for the most part. No problem. Not always the greatest overlap between those who like Combat Mission and those who play HOI, but I appreciate the follow anyway. And there will be plenty of more Combat Mission on YouTube. Volunteer force is going to work good. Anything else we particularly need to worry about? There's a whole diplomacy thing, which we will look at when we have a surplus of political power. We'll just be no, you can economically satellite countries in this. Apparently, we need trucks. Yeah, have a truck, please. Surprised we're not building them already. Okay, trucks, good. Is there anything we have loads of? Well, we'll just turn it down. I know we need more tanks, but that's fine. In fact, let's turn our planes down as well, because we're probably not using that many of them. It's just upgrades. And you'll probably find we've got a massive military force anyway. Right, we do have 3 more we can use. Probably for things we're lacking. And 1984 has been released. Where did I just put my truck? Here. Oh, we've got trucks. What are you on about? Okay. Put it under mechanized, because that does look a little bit shy, and we are using mechanized troops, and sure, we'll do 1 more on tanks. Fine. The right fire gun. I knew there was something else. Right, our troops are in Greece. I'll look at that in a moment. I would like a direct fire gun. So you can see there's a lot more types of equipment. Your unit designs are a lot different. The 17 pounder, nice. And by all means, I do not know what the quote-unquote best templates are. But if we have a look at who we fighting with at the minute are... Who did we send? Mechanized. Where's this mechanized division? Is it you? So, I mean, that's all fairly standard. So with some artillery, some tanks, some mechanized infantry, and then you can have a lot more support companies. So we could throw in here, not that we have any green stuff, but you can throw in, there's not only, is it bog standard artillery, you've got heavy artillery, light artillery, medium artillery essentially. Yeah. I suppose the rest are fairly standard. And some mechanized engineers and things. So a few tweaks. More support companies, so you can fill things out a little bit. Right. Let's help out by maybe starting to see if we can't crush a pocket. Always a good start. And we'll see how we go. Can we? We can. How about Joffrey? Would you like to go Joffrey? Or I'll go Templar. Oh, they've already done it. They've done my job for me. Okay, lads, plan B. Fighting in the mountains. Shall we go for Castoria? See if we can't take that. Squeeze them a little bit. Now, we'll see how it goes. Some of the wars in this do use the Spanish Civil War mechanic of huge nerfs if you're doing unprepared operations, which makes it really hard to intervene. We'll see how we go. Political power stability. Now, we need political power to implement some of these economic reforms. So we'll have a look at. We may have decisions on actually. This legislation liberalizes various rules concerning. Oh, we may need to get down here for now. Hang on. Before we pick anything else, I want to check these economy decisions. Okay, so we can do it. This is increase inflation. For more construction speed. That seems helpful. This will reduce inflation. It makes construction slower. Okay, but presumably lower inflation is good. And okay, and I've got permanently increased my inflation speed. Makes sense. This will less political power and more consumer goods, but where's the benefit? Or I could devalue my pound. The pound. Ah, this is probably a good way of doing it actually. Save up for these things. Bunch of industrial parks, which will help our economy on our building. Okay, I like that. And I need 200 billion to do atomic weapons. Okay. So let's save up and we'll develop some special areas. So let's speed those up by... Or do I want to go down here and tackle the... No, we'll get a little bit more political power. We'll go for that first. The legislation liberalised various rules concerning adoption, placement of children for adoption came under the supervision of local authorities, while adopted children were given inheritance rights. In addition, the legislation also rejected the notion implied by the Children's Act of 1926 that the mother had to know the identity of adopter if she could reasonably give consent to adoption. The Act instead allowed the identity of the adopted to be concealed behind a serial number. Why not? I'm sure there are a few children needing adoption after the war. I don't care about my planes in reserve, although actually I do. How many planes can I have over here? 100. So what are these? 12 strategic. I guess these are like based on historic squadrons, but they're really frustrating. So tell you what, let's give me just a 50 squadron. And we're going to send you out to Greece. Let's just bin some of these. Sorry. And 50 close air support? Yeah, probably. Let's send you out to Greece. Okay. Good. Excellency, and you're all replenished. You're going to fly over Greece. We're going to do air superiority. We're going to do close air support, and in fact, you can just support the army. Awesome. We're having a little bit of trouble in that airfield. So I could move you guys over here, actually. Well, yeah, okay, yes. But it's just so you don't overload the airfield. Okay, good. Putting our tanks into mountains, always a classic idea. Okay. Let's maybe throw in a quick staff office plan. Actually, I can even give you benefits. Max planning plus 10 seems good. We can just get a flat +1 to attack. Sure. Come on. Staff office plan. Get our planning prep up. We'll see if we can't punch a hole. How's supply? Dodgy. I'm surprised actually, because we should be pretty close to it. Shanghai has fallen to the PRC. So there is, of course, the Chinese Civil War raging on. And so I won't play that many games, but every time PRC has kicked the Republic out of mainland China, which I suppose is historically accurate. And there's a whole bunch of stuff about the, obviously, communist crackdown in the US, which is what this Hollywood 10 is about. There is huge amounts of, I wouldn't say lore, because I suppose it's real world stuff, but flavor text going on in this mod. Right, this is where we probably have... Oh no, we don't have the state modifier. Okay, so this is just because we are fighting in the mountains. Fine and dandy. Our planes are doing a good bit of face wrecking, actually, so this may be enough for us to push through despite our low attack numbers. Good. Okay, we should actually be able to work here. If you're fighting in Vietnam, you'll see the things that say state modifier and it hurts. Okay, so we could increase our spending on money to try and help the welfare and all that stuff. Well, we don't... Oh, our surplus has gone up massively. Sweet. So we could go up to, say, a better education system for more research and more construction speed. Seems poggers. Although I'm a little bit concerned about what money we may or may not have to spend to sort our economy out. So I'm going to hold off for that just now. We do have 168, so I could do the... Oh no, I can't. Ah! That's locked behind the focus. Got you. Okay, so in which case... Hey! X Iron Fury XX. Hello! Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. We need to do the something or other. Distribute. That one. Okay. Once we've done this children act, we'll jump over here to sort our post-war economy out. And I'll just hold on for the political power for just now. Because you can bank up a lot, so it's fine. So we're about to get... Hey, we took Castoria.
Taking fire!
I don't know why that voice line amused me, but it did. Okay, Children's Act done. You guys stop. You're going to... do you want to... Yeah, we probably just want to clear it behind us first, actually. Oh, we are going to take that line, though, so that's fine. You guys just help out the Greeks there. Beautiful. Okay, so we've done a little bit of political stuff. We're going to jump over here to try and sort out our post-economic debt. Post-economic debt? Post-war economic issues. God, I just opened my mouth and words fell out. The 5 common principles. The Constitution of the United Kingdom has 5 basic principles, those being the sovereignty of Parliament, the union of kingdoms, individual liberty, checks and balances, and judicial subordination. If you had asked me what the 5 common principles of my government's constitution were, or country's constitution, I would not have been able to tell you. Oh, we should definitely be going into our production and saying garrisons first. I suspect we have garrisons in random parts of the world. Look at our occupied territories. Yeah, it's all our commonwealthing. Where have we got? Oh, Malaya and bits and pieces. Singapore. Okay. Those other decisions which we looked at. Let's just do Caucasus Islands Act. Caucasus Island is the core of the Republic of Singapore, owns Caucasus Island. Get political power. We give Australia the Caucasus Islands. which is... I don't know what that is. Here. Okay. Okay. Why? I suppose, why not? Christmas Island, presumably giving Australia Christmas Island. Makes sense. And terminate the British Sheikdoms Treaty. So we release UAE, Qatar and Bahrain, which is maybe something we want to do in the future. Okay. The Trucal State of the Coast of Oman. Interesting. Alright. Well, I don't feel a need to push those buttons, but maybe we'll at some point. Where am I? Greece, Greece! So this is around the independence of Indonesia. Getting their freedom from the Dutch. When you guys have finished wrapping up here, why don't we come and just close this pocket? And we'll have a nice Western aligned Greece, surrounded by the the big old Soviet bloc. You know, I think you guys can probably just push through with air support. I suspect, yeah, we are doing significant amounts of org and strength damage. So even though this is red, we will probably still win. I mean, we're also getting Greek backups. But, yeah. Air power for the win! We are not building any autocannons. We need some autocannons. Okay. The quick-firing 40mm Mark 1 autocannon. Right, quick pause. Let's take one off our tanks and we'll build some autocannons. And there we go. Treaty of Ioniana. Kingdom of Greece wins. We have a... Oh, it's a fairly split up Greece. And here's hoping they stay nice and Western. So this is what I'm talking about. We can do a whole bunch more stuff with political power, including economic aid. We can manipulate them, trade scene. We can, you can, if you get enough influence, which you generally get by spending political power, you can. Where is it? Maybe the economic exploitation. There you go. So you get a part of their factories essentially to use for yourself, and eventually you can go to established dependent state where they become a protector, or a puppet essentially. Spies. Let's go for seducer. Why not? Probably won't do huge amounts with spying, but let's go spy in Germany. You guys are coming home. I can modify government. We're going to hold off. Java has a ceasefire, although they're still a little bit all over the place. We've got State of East Indonesia and the Republic. You are independent? No, you're still a puppet. And you are independent. Cool. Some stuff in the Dominican, won't worry too much about that. So there is the insurgency in Vietnam rages on against the French and the Republic in the south. And there you go, PRCR. Taking button, taking names. Okay, we've done the 5 common principles, so we want to move to allocate funds for Distribution of Industry Act. Distribution of Industry Act 1945 was an act of parliament intended to help redevelop areas, and between 1945 and 1950 we built 481 government factories and 505 private factories. Good job, creating approximately 200,000 jobs. That's when government stuff actually works. Maybe I'm a horrid cynic, but I feel like if our government tried to do anything like that these days, it would just be a spectacular mess and cost an insane amount of money. Okay, volunteer forces have come home. Well done, lads. You guys can just rejoin. Well, I'll keep you where you are, because if we get another scrap we want to intervene in, then it'll be the same 3 units we are restricted to. Which is unfortunate, but c'est la vie. NHS debt was about to grow. Our inflation hasn't gone up yet. We're still at 2%. That's okay. We can manage that a little bit for just now. And this will increase 1% consumer goods spending each month. Oof. Ouchie. Ouchie. We've got Georgia 6th. Okay. Social exclusion. There's an inflation rate one there. Social exclusion of the poor minorities. Oops. Surplus of the something and of the balance of payments. You get political power for being in surplus. Nice. And actually our surplus is healthy. 11 billion. I like that. So let's have a quick squiz. And a little bit of downtime at our navies. Oh my god, there's so many boats. So many boats. I don't think we need this many boats. Especially as they're all going to get very old and very out of date. Interesting. Do I want to do a little bit of a cull straight off the bat? Try and modernize our fleet. I don't actually know when and how quickly the UK dismantled its navy. Gibraltar, the Arabian fleet. I'm not sure we need those guys. Central Atlantic fleet. Okay, we've done this. So we can now click on some decisions, which I will do. 4% surplus, more political power. Okay, don't need it just yet. We get 5 building slots. Okay, don't need those just yet, I don't think. Does add a whole bunch more aggro bits and pieces. So, okay, before we get details, we have a choice. We can either go down here and we will absorb the NHS deficit. We'll cap at 2% extra cost of NHS, so it won't grow. Now I'll go Bevan's victory. Or we can go cap NHS expenditure and we go down the Attlee ministry. This is a more kind of, yeah, left-leaning. I think we're probably going to go down for more of Attlee, so we're going to be working on this one. Maintain strict monetary policy. That will knock 1% off the inflation. Well, it will hurt construction speed as we work down towards this, but we need to get down here and we need all of this stuff. Ugh. Okay, let's do it. Our monetary policy must be strict, even if our inflation rate grows because of it. We'll print more money to maintain our growing economy. You are shrinking my inflation with this decision, though. I won't question it. So we would like to invest. And now we do have enough to go straight for England. I'm sorry, I will spend 500 billion. Okay, these come with a cost, apparently. I can't afford that right now. But okay, what are you giving me? So you're 50 billion each. You're 100 billion each. And you are 65 billion each. So actually, Scotland is the most cost effective. We'll do that. We're going to spend money we don't have, go in the red, and we can take a loan out from various places. We can go from the US, from France, or from Germany. Really? Germany has a surplus? Okay, we don't need 100 million. We just need... Actually, we do need 75. Why don't we spread it around? We'll go there, and we'll take 25 from you, and we'll take 25 from you. There we go. Just like that. We've got sort our economy. Grand. If you do nothing, I think you automatically take out money from IMF. So we will have debt, which we will have to service, and eventually, if we want, we can pay it back. But I suspect we're going to end up with a lot more debt before this is finished. And no, I don't want to change my spending. So, speaking of trying to save money, let's do it. Let's cut the fleet. Do we want to get... Tell you what, let's get everyone to come home. Let's all come up to Lothian. That's... I don't know if this is true in the base game. I've only just realised where the Lothian port is. The Edinburgh's here. This is Fife. Anyway, everyone come home. Merge you up, and then we'll trim you down. Try and rationalise our navy a little bit, save off the kind of, what is it, 30 billion a month we're spending? Yeah. Okay, Gandhi's assassin has been killed. It's fine. I'm not going to read all these. Interesting, but takes too long. Right, I'll wait for him to get home. Meanwhile, we have our new divisions have landed. Now we could modify the government if I wanted as well. So we are going to have a year to save up political power. So do you know what? Let's do it to help our research. And ooh, construction speed, tech research. Wow, this is fantastic. Tarmac. We can't do it. Fund the Tarmac group. Show me where that is, because that looked awesome. Not here. Can I find it? And there. Ah, okay. We're working our way towards it. Excellent. Let us... I want to save it? Yeah, I'm going to save it. I think that's really good. Let's go. Let's beeline for that. Assuming we can. 3 civilian factories. Wow, we upgraded that really quickly. That pleases me. So other things we can do is water infrastructure is good anywhere there is food factories. And the only quirk I have is when you get into this view, you cannot see where your food factories are. Like if you go down to which one is it? Where's my food factories? That one. Even that doesn't show me. What do I have to go to resources? There is a map mode where it shows it. Resources, here you go. Where you can see I've got them. So like I don't have any in Lanark, or west of Scotland. So there's not much point building water infrastructure, but I do have them everywhere else. Oh, including down here, I've got lots. Let's do that, and sure, I'll put one in the Highlands just for the sake of it. Oh, did I have any in Northern Ireland? I should remember which what's my code for that? F8. Oh, I'll just click it. No, I don't. Okay, fine. Alright, build those things. Again, just help the economy, more money, more ability to do things, and have bigger fleets and navies and all that good stuff. Right, everyone is home. Let's group you. Interesting. Am I going to do that again? It is. Oh. Apparently the shortcut there is G. Let's group you all up. Well, we've got 17 carriers, 44 battle cruisers, 14 battleships, 83 destroyers, and 78 submarines. Right. Apparently we have small, we have early World War II. That's it. So let's get... Oh, that's just all our submarines. So these seem to be the newest one. Amphibian and astute. And then there's a whole bunch. We just aren't going to need them. We want submarines, we're going to want more modern ones. Do we just feel like getting them all is a bit OTT? Like it's probably, if you're wanting to like meta game it, sure. Where's the fun in that? Right. Oh, different classes. Okay, let's grab all of these guys. Okay, and then say we'll take half of them, and we will decommission half our submarine fleet. Whoop. Or I'll click the wrong button and I'll decommission my entire submarine fleet. Okay. It's fine, we'll build newer, better ones. Okay, here, let's, yeah. We probably want to trim down our battleships as well. So let's try and do this properly. Hang on. And I must admit, I've not really been looking at which one's which. And maybe we should actually. Let's try and do this vaguely sensibly. If we have a look at our... probably show me in here. Heavy ships. We can build the Vanguard class battle cruiser. Just no more battleships. Makes sense. They didn't really become a thing anymore, so maybe we just get rid of them all. And start building some new things. Yeah, do you know what? I'm not against that. I'm not against that. Okay. Okay, we're going to the Cheetos for our battleships. Now we've got a whole bunch of battle cruisers, a whole bunch of CVs, and a whole bunch of destroyers. So roughly it's what? We want 4 of these for each one of these, and 4 of them for each one of them. No, 3. 3's the minimum. I believe. I can't remember. But we don't want 17 carriers. So let's grab all you guys. And let's say split you in half. Sure. Let's decommission you. And then we can essentially split those guys in half, and we'll have 2 fleets with 4 carriers in them. Beautiful. So we would want... Give me all my cruisers. We want like 16. We're doing it proper conservatively. So 16 times would be 32. So if I get rid of 12 of these, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And again, I'm not really looking at which one's the best and which one's the worst, which is probably something you should be doing. And say goodbye and thanks for playing. Okay. And then, oh man, that's insane. You'd now want like 50 destroyers in each, which we don't have. Okay, so if we minimize that, it would be 12. Which doesn't allow for losses, but it's probably okay from a main battleship line. And that we're just number of destroyers we'd ideally like to have. Well, minimum of 36. So we just maybe split these guys in half, actually. Okay, and now we have 2 fleets. Okay. Let's grab one of them and say, hey, why don't you go out to be in Singapore? And one of you guys stay at home. Beautiful. Now again, they're old ships. We're going to have to build new ones and redesign our navy, but that's fine. So what can we see what we can build right now on the production side of things? Hello, no J4KI. But I'm afraid I don't speak Russian or any Cyrillic language. So please, English. Right. World War II stuff, I don't want it. We must be able to do something more modern than that. Right, get rid of all this. World War II, not interested, not interested, not interested, not interested. Where is... Cruisers? No. Battle cruisers. Vanguard, that's what we want for that. On submarines, what have we got? Just World War II ones. We may need to get some extra tech before we start building. Okay, we'll look at that next time a tech slot becomes available. And I'll not worry too much about it right now. No, here we go. Small submarine 1. This is probably what we want. Start building me some of these. I know I did accidentally decommission 2 of them, but still. Let's bin this. You down here, and you... Okay, good. And let's say, let's get 8 of those. That'll keep my navy going for a while. Good. Let's put an admiral in charge. In fact, let's create 2 navies and stick a couple animals in charge. And then, hang on, what? I have no navy men. That's rubbish. So much attention detail everywhere else, and yet there's no one in the navy. Right, okay. Naval lark aside, ergo PLA has, or PRC, whatever you call it, kicked the Republican off the mainland. And after a slight decimation of our overinflated World War II sized navy, we're going to bring this episode to a close. So I think we've got Britain on the road to recovery, although it's a ways to go yet before we can fully balance our books. This is a little bit of a different fare for our usual channel content, but I do hope you have enjoyed it. And I would ask, as it's the first episode in a new series, if you did enjoy it, I appreciate if you leave a like or a comment, just because it helps the visibility of new stuff. And as ever, the rest will be up on YouTube, or if you want to catch this live, then do check out the links in the description below. And I'll see you all in the next one. Cheerio.